on the back page and sponsored by people from businesses within the community. I was very impressed with the message that it had at the top, and I'd like to share that with you to begin with. On Veterans Day, we pause to reflect on the courage, dedication, and loyalty to our nation's military veterans. Throughout history, their hard work and sacrifice have kept us safe and protected our freedom. We owe them a debt of gratitude that can never be repaid, and we salute them for their service. To all of the brave men and women who have sacrificed to put their country first, we thank you. We are presenting our salute in less than an hour. Hence, that's our title, Honoring Our Veterans in a Nutshell. We're condensing it. This tribute should be acknowledged every day of our lives, not just on this one day of our year. We want to welcome to you from the Odebolt American Legion Auxilliary, post number 313. We are proud to present a tribute to all of our servicemen and women for Veterans Day. My name is Barb Bloom, and with me are Ruth Ann Moore and LaDonna Miller. Our program is brief, like I said, in a nutshell. If there are other members from within our own unit, would you please raise your hand to be recognized? Auxiliary members. We have Shirley and Nancy and Judy. Did I miss anybody? Thank you. Those are the people that are involved in supporting us also. We want to honor all of our servicemen and women and share with you how our auxiliary supports them. We are very proud and thankful for everything they have done and continue to do to protect us and our freedoms. Today, we offer you our sincere appreciation and gratitude. Ruth Ann will now begin with an introduction.
Veterans Day honors men and women who served in the United States Armed Services. Veterans Day is a legal federal holiday in the United States. It is celebrated on November 11th. In 1919, President Woodrow Wilson proclaimed November 11th as Armistice Day to remind Americans of the tragedies of war. A law adopted in 1938 made the day a federal holiday. In 1954, Congress changed the name of the holiday to Veterans Day to honor all United States veterans. In 1919, following World War I, men who fought in France formed a veterans organization called the American Legion. American Legion Roost Post 313. The post was named after Herman Roche, the first Odebolt veteran in Odebolt and also Sac County to die in the service of his country. Herman was born in Odebolt January 9th of 1901 and died in Chamonix, France, December 31st, 1917. The organizational meeting of the post was held on January 2nd, 1920. Their aim was to make Odebolt and the community a better place to live.
You received a handout. I would like you to join us if you would choose to read the American's Creed. I believe in the United States of America as a government of the people, by the people, for the people, whose just powers are derived from the consent of the governed, a democracy in a republic, a sovereign nation of many sovereign states, a perfect union, one and inseparable, established upon those principles of freedom, equality, justice, and humanity, for which American patriots sacrificed their lives and fortunes. I therefore believe it is my duty to my country to love it, to support its Constitution, to obey its laws, to respect its flags, and to defend it against all enemies. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. You have one over here. I will. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please direct your attention to the table in the center. This is called the Missing Man table, and it's sometimes referred to as the Fallen Comrade table or White table, and is meant to remind viewers of those fallen, missing, or imprisoned U.S. military service members. Each item on the missing table represents the emotions and feelings reserved for those who did not come home. The ceremony symbolizes that they are with us here in spirit. All Americans should never forget the brave men and women who answered our nation's call to serve and fought for our freedom with honor. This is the white table honoring the fallen, the POW, and the MIA.
We call our attention to the small table, which occupies a space of dignity and honor. It is set for one, symbolizing the fact that members of our armed forces are missing in our ranks. They are referred to as POWs and MIAs. We call them comrades. They were unable to be with their loved ones and families, so we join to pay humble tribute to them and to bear witness to their continued absence. The table is small, symbolizing the frailty of one prisoner alone against his or her suppressors. The tablecloth is white, symbolic of the purity of their intentions to respond to their country's call to arms. The single rose signifies the blood they may have shed in sacrifice to ensure the freedom of our beloved United States of America. This rose also reminds us of the family and friends of our missing comrades who kept faith while awaiting their return. The yellow ribbon on the rose represents an unyielding determination for the proper accounting of our comrades who are not among us. The lemon on the plate reminds us of their bitter fate. The salt sprinkled on the plate reminds us of the countless fallen tears of families as they wait. The glass is inverted. They cannot toast with us at this time. The chair is empty. They are not here. The candle is reminiscent of the light of hope, which lives in our hearts to illuminate their way home, away from their captors to the open arms of grateful nation. The American flag reminds us that many of whom may never return have paid the supreme sacrifice to ensure our freedom. Let us pray to the Supreme Commander that all of our comrades will soon be back within our ranks. Let us remember and never forget their sacrifice. May God forever watch over them and protect them and their families.
At this time, I'm privileged and honored to recognize the veterans who are in our audience. Would you please stand, state your name, your branch of service, your years of service, and where you served? Would you please stand? Bob, do you want to lead off?
My name's Bob Leonard. I served in the United States Air Force from 1975 to 1979. I was stationed at Mountain Home Air Force Base in Idaho, Osan Air Base in South Korea, and finished up at Hill Air Force Base in Utah, Ogden, Utah.
Thank you.
Herbie Teese, United States Marine Corps, 1970 to 1972. I served part-time in Camp Pendleton, California, and my overseas duty was Camp Anson, Okinawa.
Carol?
Carol Youngren. I was in the 74 and 75, the last set, and I was in the Army Dog Training Center in Fort Carson, Colorado.
Ray.
My name is Ray Legge. I was a United States Army, and I served in 1970 to 71. I spent 1 year in Vietnam. I truly was blessed to have a good job there and did not have to see action at that time. So I was United States Army.
Veterans, we thank you for your service. You may be seated. At this time, I wanted to share with you a few things. Julie has selected some books from the Odebolt Public Library that I think make a big difference for our readers in the community, both adults and children. One of the books that we have used a lot for this afternoon's program comes from America in a Nutshell, which kind of hints at what our title became. But it has lots of information, little bits of information that you can put together and use. And this is also, all of these books are, at least I'm acquainted with, are also available on Amazon. So if you're interested in any of those. I'm really impressed with this one for children. If you're looking for something for a Christmas or birthday gift, this would be an excellent opportunity for you to share information with that child about our veterans and the obligations and dedications that they have experienced. This is by Amanda Radke. I like the format. It has pictures that will go with it. It says it's a special blessing for America and a sweet message for our nation's amazing kids. Like that. If you're familiar with children's books, you can't pass up the Bernstein Bears. And they have a number of books out for children, but this one is God Bless Our Country. So this would be another good choice for younger children, but adults can enjoy reading them also. This one is called The Worn Out Flag, and we do have a special ceremony once each year in which flags that have been damaged or are wearing considerably, we retire those flags in a formal ceremony, and it's usually held in Lakeview for Sac County. And this is what happens to those flags. You don't just toss them in the garbage. There is a routine procedure, a dedication to our country. That's what our flag represents. This book is also in the elementary school library. I know it's called H is for Honor, and another opportunity for you to share things. One of the comments, it's a great elementary primer book for the military. I'm married and have 3 little girls. I gave the book to my eldest to read. Her response afterward was, "Dad, now I understand." My eldest is now rereading it with her younger sister, and I definitely plan to use it as a bedtime reading for my youngest. That's just a comment from one of our readers. And this, of course, before they were soldiers. This is in the Odebolt Library also. A good opportunity to remember these veterans were human beings just like you and I as kids. And look what they have done for us and for our country. So I wanted you to encourage to know that there are books out there and they do make very, very special gifts. Julie, thank you for selecting those from them. There are 2 others that I want to talk about. Well, actually more than that. I get hung up on books, so let me find my other paper here. I wanted to share with you, here we go, one that I had the privilege of meeting a veteran, and he was called the Chocolate Pilot, and it happened about 10 years ago. Debbie and I were talking about this. He was actually here in Odebolt, Iowa, and his name was Gail Halverson. He was a friend of Jim Lundell, and Jim brought him to the Odebolt School. I happened to be there, and he visited with the children. He read the book that's written about them with the children that day and shared with them some of his experiences and also encouraged them to live fruitful and benefiting lives for themselves and for others. The story is about Mercedes, a young German girl, and it tells the story of the Berlin airlift during World War II. Pilot Gail Halverson not only delivered life-saving food and supplies into war-torn West Berlin, he also took time to drop candy and write letters to a worried little girl. Mercedes, like many other children, was worried about where her next meals would come from as the enemy surrounded them. And based on true events, This is a powerful story and kindness about how it can bring hope to people in difficult situations. And that book is in the Odebolt Library. So young people, check out your media center and find Mercedes and the Chocolate Pilot. It really did happen, and he was a terrific guy. And when I instruct the children about Poppy Days and making Poppy posters, I always share the book about the Poppy Lady. And this is the true story also of Moina Bell Michael and how she began handing out flowers to veterans coming home from World War I in a way of thanking them for their service. It's usually used at Memorial Day, but it would also be appropriate for today because you can distribute poppies at any time of the year to show your appreciation for the soldiers, the veterans that have given the most. It tells the story of a school teacher because she was working with children, and this is why she urged not only adults but children to deal with that also. Another book is called The Wall, and you may have already heard of Eve's Bunting 1990 picture book, which tells the story of a young boy and his father visiting the Vietnam War Memorial in Washington, D.C. to find his grandfather's name. They see a veteran in a wheelchair and a grandfather who served but lived. This is somber, reverent book about the sacrifices our soldiers make. I have a hard time reading this one without crying. It also is in your media center at school. We have some for the younger children. It's called Hero Mom. Many of the younger children are dealing with situations where their mom or dad is being deployed. That's a tough time for them. Sometimes a book can help you ease through some of those situations in a way of dealing with them. There's also one on the 21 steps. Do you know all the steps that are involved in the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier? And the tremendous training that those people go through in order to serve in that position as being a guard at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Very interesting, very informative, and there's a reason why 21 is used repeatedly in a number of things. So read the book to find out all the ways that occurs. The presentation that you just saw is also in a children's book called The White Table, and it is the story of a family who honors a member of their family who was a military person, unfortunately, gave the ultimate sacrifice and was not able to return home. So we have taken that presentation to give to you today, but it's also used in military ceremonies in the service today. If they're having a main dedication, that table is present and it is presented much like what our ladies did for you this afternoon. I also want to talk about a veteran who returned suffering from PTSD and with physical injuries. And this is the story of Louis Montolan. It's a story of his life on coming home and his experiences with a service dog and how it has helped him deal with a number of challenges throughout his life and the companionship that that dog offers for him and the security and love that they share between each other. And through all of those times, the dog's name is Tuesday. So there are several versions, and thank goodness he's now writing he's writing these same books now for younger children. So you have two books that are just newly out called Tuesday Tucks Me In and Tuesday Takes Me There. So they're much more at an easier level. Now, if you want the original book, the first one, it's called Tuesday's Promise. And there's another one, Until Tuesday. And he talks about his early days of getting his service dog, and then later, as he's learned more of the challenges of how to deal with the dog as well as himself. And both books are excellent reading. So check out your library, boys and girls. Check out the middle school library too, because there are a lot of books out there for you to enjoy. Sometimes quick reading, sometimes it may take you a couple of days maybe to get through it, but I hope you would enjoy those. Okay. Okay, at this time, I guess you would say I want to brag a little bit, but I want to call your attention to the fact that our auxiliary does an awfully lot to sponsor and help our veterans, and we're proud of what we have done in the past and continue to do. All of our funds for the auxiliary are derived from the Odebolt American Legion Auxiliary Steak Fry, which is held in August of each year. The Legion shares that profit with us for our participation. We pay dues, state, district, and SAC, county, I should say SAC County, but those monies do not go to any of our projects. Those are used to pay the responses that we have to do to our state and district, and that covers some of their expenses. So every unit has to pay those dues, and we use our dues money to take care of that. The money that we incur from our steak fry is used for our projects. And here are some of the projects, and they are many, but I'm proud of them. We sponsor 1 or 2 girls for Girls State. Have any of you ever heard of Girls State before? Thank you. How are you familiar with it? Hey, go for it. All right. Well, this is a program of approximately 300 young women from Iowa who attend Girls State at Drake University for Sunday through Friday. And they must be a junior in high school, and while they're there, they will study in depth city, county, and state government processes. They will have citizens set up their own city, their own county, their own state government, and administer them according to the laws of Iowa. So it's a first-hand, in-depth learning about what government is all about. The girls participate in legislative sessions, campaigning, party rallies, debating, and voting, along with learning deeper knowledge of parliamentary procedure. In addition to their political activities, the girls hear several motivational speakers along with local and state government officials. The culmination of this week on Friday evening is the inauguration of their newly elected officials at Drake. And the public is always invited to attend, so it's an opportunity. So if you know of a junior girl at OABCIG that could be very much interested in attending Girls State, get in touch with the guidance counselor, talk with them about those opportunities, and then we'll visit with Jean Snyder, who is our representative for Girls State. We will pay your expenses for the week and see that you have a learning and wonderful experience there. So we'd like to pass that on. We want to sponsor someone. We really do. Okay. Second, we give scholarships and citizenship awards to Odebolt Arthur graduating seniors. We assist the Legion with a Memorial Day program at the cemetery. We distribute poppies. Did you know poppies are not sold? They are only passed out, and if you wish to give a donation, you may do so of any amount, from a penny on up. They are distributed to anyone who's willing to wear that poppy in support of our veterans. And all of the money that we take in from the distribution of those poppies must be used directly for a veteran in some way or form, directly. It cannot be any other obligation or some effect that we think, oh, the community needs this. This has to go to a veteran project. I sponsor with not I, but I'm the one who represents at school. With the 4th and 5th grade students, we do a poppy poster contest. All of the posters that are made are displayed at Odebolt and Arthur businesses. And in return, we give the children awards for their outstanding performance in their artistry and creation of these posters, and also hand out a lot of freebies, which you are going to be entitled to today too. There are some of these over on the table, so help yourself to some of those things. We purchase books, like I was just talking about. At least 5 books are purchased every year to go into the Odebolt Arthur Middle School Media Center. And they deal in topics from patriotism to American history, but especially about veterans. We treat our educators here at the school for American Education Week, for their staff and everyone involved at the school. This year they have a nice box of apples in their teacher's lounge, which they are enjoying during the month of November. We visit our members in nursing homes with gifts and decorations and programs. The design, the little mounted object with the cross, is what we have at OSC this year, and this month, I should say, for Veterans Day. So this is on the center of their tables when they eat their lunch. Our state president always has 2 or 3 projects that they choose to focus upon. As a unit, we can choose to also join in them. This year, our state president had 3 projects that she was interested, and the first one I loved. Does not cost a penny. What you do is say thank you to a veteran. Your verbal response, a hug, a handshake, a pat on the back, recognize those individuals for the service that they have done. Thank you, veterans, again. Okay? Her second was called the Final Salute. Unfortunately, there are some veterans who no longer have family or anyone connected with them at their death to take care of their remains. Funeral home in Des Moines and a church in Waukee have picked up that need. And this past year, they provided a military service and burial, complete with all formalities, to 9 individual veterans who had not been claimed by anyone. This is something we are contributing to this year. How nice that we can pay tribute to those individuals. And the third one was Be the One. And this is a big need coming out from our veterans now, providing assistance, training, and support for those in need of rehabilitation programs, including suicide prevention. We need to be able to deal with some of the issues and concerns, the challenging things that these veterans have experienced in their lives that can often do a great deal of damage, in addition to physical harm that may have happened. Our district president had a project also. She's concerned with our VA hospitals. We have one in Omaha, and their need was for a hospice cart supplies. So we are contributing money so that they can buy the kinds of things as they travel through the hospice, working with various individuals, that they have whatever they need on their cart right there. It's something beneficial for them. She also is concerned with the Sioux Falls Veterans Hospital. And this year their need was for recreational therapy, dealing with adaptive sports equipment, not necessarily a prosthesis, but little things that can make a difference, whether it's something Velcro that can go on their hand or their arm or on their leg, whatever that need might be. But it helps them to be able to participate in some of the things that they might have loved as an original individual rather than after coming home from service. So we are proud that people are excited about this because they can now play cards. These devices can help them hold the cards in their hands. These devices can help them play golf because they can now they put adaptive things onto either the club or onto their hands and arms so that they can participate in some of the activities that they had loved. Omaha VA has a Fisher House. Some of you have heard about McDonald House, and that's a home for people who are attending family member who is in the hospital, and they have a place to stay, they have food to eat. Well, Fisher House in Omaha is like that for the Veterans Hospital, and it provides a place for families of the veteran to stay at no cost for overnight or for several days, depending on what the need might be on why they are in the hospital. Siouxland has a Freedom Park, and I'm sure you've seen that advertised at various, and we have contributed to that. Last year, we were a part of the Odebolt Memorial Circle in its rededication. I talked to you about the support dogs that are becoming very useful to our veterans in helping them. There are 2 programs. One is called Puppy Jake, which is located in Des Moines, and the other is Partners for Patriots, which is located at Sloan, Iowa. And we contribute to both of those. The lady that does the dog training at Sloan has been to our county meeting, brought one of her service dogs with her. It's remarkable what those dogs are able to do for an individual, for a veteran, to give them, again, that companionship, the guidance that they need. I mean, it can go and get things for them from the refrigerator or go to their bedroom and get things. They can protect them if they're walking out on the streets, crossing at an intersection. They're a godsend. But it takes several years and several $1,000s just to take care of one dog, to train it. So this unit at Sloan is doing that, and we've seen the effects of what that has made. We also are contributing to honor flights to Washington, D.C. we have some, Rudy, you went to Washington DC, right, on an honor flight. And it's an expense paid trip for that veteran. They fly out of Fort Dodge. We are not connected with the Northwest honor flight. Our group is Brushy Creek, and it comes out of Fort Dodge. And they take a full day, like 24 hours plus maybe, but they fly them to Washington, D.C. and give them guided tours to all the veteran memorials in Washington, D.C. And I have a poster up here on the table that shows all of those various memorials. And take a look at that if you're not familiar with any of them. But I'm sure it has to be an emotional and wonderful experience. I've talked with Rudy and know that he was very impressed. Okay. We do sponsor Freedom Quilts. We used to be quite a quilting group. Unfortunately, many of our ladies have gotten older and it's not as easy to manipulate all the pieces and the sewing, but we do contribute to purchase materials and supplies that are needed to make quilts. So we are involved with Betty Nielsen out of Fonda, who really started the program in our area with Freedom Quilts. Des Moines has a Quilt of Valor, which invites people to come in regularly and for a weekend, and the ladies and gentlemen, it's not just ladies, they get together and they produce these quilts, and then they are given freely to veterans. And they're trying to make their way through all the veterans, through all of the wars that they have received, and it's always a patriotic quilt. They're beautiful. Sac County has area quilters. You may know Linda Slight, and she is in charge of that. And many of our men in our Legion unit and our community have received quilts from them. Last year, we also involved ourselves with Wreaths Across America, and we present Christmas wreaths to be placed on the graves of all of the veterans. We stayed within the state of Iowa, and we do have a military cemetery here in our state, and we contributed money in order to purchase beautiful real live wreaths with red bows on them, and they're placed on every one of the veterans' graves in that community. We have an auxiliary emergency fund for just our ladies that we contribute to. You know, Northwest Iowa experienced a lot of flooding last year, and we had the experience of being able to contribute to Rock Valley Auxiliary Unit and in helping them with their recovery and dealing with the terrible things that developed through that flooding. We participate in deployment services. This past year, we've been involved with Dathan and Jagger Loger and Cody Durbin in getting thanks off to them. We're sending service boxes to them, and Deb talked to me today. Each of them have received our first service box, so it's been delivered. That's good. Okay. We help ourselves. We have members who have needs. Our programs and decorations, in addition to the one that you see for today, for Veterans Day, we also do President's Day, Flag Day, the 4th of July, Veterans Day, and Memorial Day. We also keep track of personal volunteer hours and dollars that we spend or share with veterans during the year. Last year, when I culminated all the hours for our unit, we have 27 members, and we had over $1,000 contributed and over 1,000 hours contributed to the service of veterans. And that's important because that number goes into the state and then on to the federal government, which helps determine how much money comes back from the federal government to our state and to our local units. So that's a big plus, and that number indicates, okay, there was a need for that. So hopefully that funding will continue. That includes many of the people who are blood donors within our community. That can also be used often for veterans who are in hospital. And we have a wonderful donor here, I know, that contributes a lot. Thank you, Ruth Ann. We make sure that all of our classrooms at Odebolt Arthur Middle School have a flag on display. And at any time, if you notice that that flag seems to be in disrepair or in need of replacement, get in touch with us because we work with the Legion in order to do that also. But because of you supporting our Legion Auxiliary Steak Fry, and I'm giving you a plug now, it's in August, we invite you to buy a ticket and come and join with us in meal and fellowship, and that will help us continue to support our auxiliary and Legion programs. Do you have any questions? Yes, Roxy.
Why do they distribute
That's a good question. Have you ever heard of the poem called Flanders Field? There's a story behind that. A doctor who was dealing with many of the military people, the soldiers that were injured, and he was in so much sadness. He got up one morning because he had been so busy all during the night helping veterans, or not veterans, but soldiers in their need. World War I, you are right. And as he looked across the sunrise and gazed out upon the field, what surprised him most was on all the ruin that has taken place because of that fighting, in spite of that, were blooming red poppies. And they're kind of a red-orange. They're usually referred to as more red, but they can be that. And he was so impressed, he wrote a poem. And from that day on, the poppy became the symbol for our veterans and for our Legion and Auxiliary. But there's a story that goes with that, with the poppy lady. She will tell you about that too. Any other questions? Okay, at this time then, Ruth Ann, tell us about red shirts.
In support of our deployed, Dathan, Jagger, Cody, and the others in Northwest Iowa, we encourage everyone to start wearing red on Fridays. R for remember, the E for everyone, and the D is for deployed. I've got the universal one. Deb has the special, and then the back. In there. So just a red T-shirt, or
And
red
I have a
sweatshirt,
grandma
or
one
whatever.
too.
Whatever you can, so we can support that. We are in support. Please help us support those.
Who do we get in touch with for that? We want a T-shirt.
If you want a T-shirt,
You can get them, there's so many websites online, and some of the units have done them, like the unit in Lamar's, the cavalry, they did them, and people can, it advertised on the internet and people could buy them. There's been talk that Casino Company, which is Dathan's company in Des Moines, might be doing something around Christmas time, but I got the plain one, like Ruthie's wearing, and these online, and I wanted them personalized, these two, so.
I just say, if you got red, wear it.
That's just what I was going to add. If you have a red T-shirt, or don't, get one. It's time to wear one. And you could become a member of our auxiliary. Even as a young person, you can join the auxiliary if you have a grandmother, or you are a grandmother, a mother, a sister, a wife, or direct from adopted family descendants of American Legion members, or a deceased veteran who served in World War I, World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the Grenada, Panama and or Lebanon conflicts, and the Persian Gulf War. So if you have a relationship with any of those wars, you could be an eligible person to join the American Legion Auxiliary. See me if you are interested. And now if you will look at your handout again, I would like you to read together with me the poem, Remembering Our Veterans. They walked through the fires of hell with courage in their hearts. They fought for freedom and for peace. They played their vital parts. Some came back with bodies whole. Some came back with scars. But all came back as heroes who reached for distant stars. So let us never forget the price they had to pay and honor them with gratitude each and every day. As we conclude, LaDonna is going to lead us in a prayer, and then we will have the playing of taps, which I will explain after that. LaDonna?
Almighty God, we pause to give you thanks for the many blessings you have bestowed upon us. We are deeply grateful for your great wisdom that leads each of us where we ought to be, though often we are unaware of your guidance. Thank you for those who have served in the military in the past and for those who are serving our country today. May we remember to express our gratitude to each of these people at every opportunity. We further pray that you will bless our leaders and give direction as they serve the American Legion Auxilliary. We ask that you continue to keep us where we can be of service to you and to others. Once again, we thank you for all you have done for each of us and for our country. May you continue to bless America. Amen.
Amen. We'd like to thank the library for allowing us to present this afternoon, and to you for attending, especially our young people. It's so nice to see your faces in the audience. And our veterans. We will never forget what you have done. Thank you again. Please remember our steak fry in August. And with that, we can continue to make a difference in the lives of our veterans. May God bless you all, and God bless America. And now Ray Legge is going to be playing taps for us, but before he's done that, did you know there are lyrics that go with the taps? Listen carefully as I share these words, and then as Ray plays the taps, think about these words. Day is done, gone the sun, from the hills, from the lakes, from the skies. All is well, safely rest, God is nigh. You are dismissed. Please, young people, help yourselves to some of the freebies. Adults also, if you are interested in any of those.
Goodies over here. Please come and help
Okay,
yourself.
make the round. Thank